And a pleasant good afternoon to you. I am still very excited because with me is none other than our famous artiste, Kim Derrick. And we've peered back the veneer of her life. We looked at her at 5 years old and we are looking at her life under the microscope. And we want to focus on a very important transition that she has gone through when her mother passed away. Over to you, Kim.
Yes, Adrian, that was a really, and it still is a very emotional thing for me. It was really, really traumatic because my mother was the glue of the family. She was always the kind of woman that anybody can come to and speak to and rely on and call on. So for me, losing my mother, even before I lost her when she was sick, it was for me, I was trying to prepare myself mentally and emotionally that, you know, there's a great possibility that she could die. Because that's what life is. Life is, death is inevitable.
Yes.
But at that stage, she was only 58 years old. And I thought she had so much more to give. And it was, for me, being out there without my mother, without her to be able to call and say, "Hi mommy, how you doing?" Although I was delinquent sometimes, she would say, you forget that you have a mother? That's what she used to tell me sometimes. And I would tell her things like, you know, mommy, you know, I'm busy doing certain things. But as she was ill, she had diabetes, I then basically jumped in and I took the reins where my family was concerned, and I started doing all these stuff that my mother used to do to carry on the tradition of the family, which is to have all the Christmas lunches at my home when mommy was sick, birthday parties, just family gatherings, because my family is very closely knitted. So for me, it was a case where going from her being sick to her dying and not being able to pick up the phone and call her and talk to her or go and see her, it was really a shock, and it still is a shock to my system as I'm going through certain stages of my life, and knowing that I can't even call on her. You know?
So she sounds as though she was a very strong woman.
Very strong woman. Very all the licks I got and everything else that I resented her for back then, because I remember feeling a lot of resentment towards my mother because she was very strict. She didn't use to spare the rod. She was one of the people that strongly believed in spare the rod and spoil the child. And she believed also in the fact that you gotta be a strong woman in terms of your home and cleaning and pressing and washing, and you gotta be able to do all of these things. She also was very strict when it came to our education. She didn't used to pull any punches there at all. The quickest words from mommy to say is that you're banned. If your grades in, you're banned. You're banned from the TV, you're banned from the phone, you can't go outside and play, you're banned. Go and kneel down in the corner. My mother was that person, but people, I resented her for that aspect because I figure, I guess, you know, like any other child, you know, you don't want to get getting lashes every 5 minutes. But I deserved it, because looking back at me back then, when she lashed me, I was very naughty. I was a tomboy that deserved the lashes. But getting back to her in terms of who she is, or who she was.
Yes, tell me a bit about her.
Marlene Derrick was the kind of woman that she used to work with the Democratic Labour Party, helping them with their functions whenever they had their conferences and stuff like that. She would do their fish cakes, she would do their rum punch, she would do their sandwiches. She was very, very close to Dr. Richie Haynes, and the late Errol Walton Barrow, our Prime Minister back then. And mommy was very involved in the community and stuff like that, and she was very helpful. And most people, when they hear Marlene Derrick, they say that was a really good woman. Richie Haynes was actually the person, Dr. Richie Haynes was the person that was a pallbearer at my mother's funeral, so just to show you the closeness between the two of them. But she was the kind of woman that everybody knew. She was a no-nonsense person, but she would give you her last. She would feed you. You come to her home and you say, "Miss Derrick, I'm hungry." She would give you something to eat. right? She would encourage any drug use, because if she knows that you're on drugs or you want the money to go and buy alcohol or whatever, she would tell you, well, I will give you food, but I'm not giving you money because I'm not encouraging you in doing foolishness with my money. And that was the kind of person she was.
So in terms of looking at her life and her death, what were some of the lessons that lived on after she passed with you?
The lessons that live on is family is everything.
Wow.
Family is first.
Yes.
And once you have that, you know that you are well surrounded with love and respect. And it is like knowing that you can lean on each other as a family, knowing that you can, be there for one another to help each other through adversities and rough times, and sticking in there with one another, and knowing that every day is not going to be great, where family is concerned, because you can have your disagreements and everything, but at the end of the day, you're still family, and family comes first.
So when you look back at these lessons, and we're going to delve deeper into this in our upcoming segment. When you think about Mommy dying, strong woman, as you said, she held the family together. She was the one who got people to come together for the parties and the events, correct?
Correct.
How would you say you funneled yourself into that role?
It was just a natural progression for me. As I said, I didn't even recognize how much of a big influence in terms of my destiny
Yes.
my mother had over me, until I recognized when she got sick, and I realized that, I don't want this to die. I don't want this to go away. I need us to stay together, because we need each other more so now than ever in this situation. So it was almost a natural instinct in me to say, well, okay, well, mommy's not well, so we having lunch by me, instead of mommy and daddy home daddy's trying to cook, because she's at the stage where she couldn't see anymore.
Okay.
It affected her eyes, and also it was affecting her heart and her kidneys as well, because she went on dialysis.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? Invite mommy and daddy over on Sundays, have my sisters and my brother come over on Sundays, and my nieces and my nephews, and we would just have like family luncheons over by me, or Christmas lunch. And so it was like, as I said, it was just a natural progression for me just to do that.
Yes.
And that's the entertainment side that I got from my mother.
Yeah.
That was from my mother, because my mom loves entertaining people at home, cooking for them, and taste my food, taste this recipe, and she used to get excited about those things, and I find that I am the same.
Well, there you have it. We have been interviewing Kim Derrick, and she is not just an international artiste or the vocal artiste that we know her as, but she is also a mother. And in our upcoming segment, we'll be talking to her about parenting.